In 2003, an American dating game show debuted on ABC called The Bachelorette. The Bachelorette revolves around one eligible bachelorette and around 25 eligible men to become her husband. Interpersonal communication plays a huge role in The Bachelorette. Face-to-face communication is inevitable if the contestants want to make impressions and try finding the love of their life. Since the debut of the first season, which aired in 2003, according to ABC, only 2 other couples are still together after their season was aired, which means the show only has a 33% success rate. I personally ask myself, why do I get the perception that these relationships end up perfect? But in reality, a lack of good interpersonal communication skills could be the reason for some of the couples' failures. Interpersonal communication affects the outcome of reality TV shows and the contestants' relationships with each other. Out of the 10 seasons of The Bachelorette, I've watched the last 6 seasons, and I have always been fascinated with the drama and the romantic side of the show. I followed up on all of the couples after the season to see if the couples were still together. First, I will discuss interpersonal communication itself. Secondly, I will analyze certain events in the show using the interpersonal concept flaming. Finally, I will analyze the events that took place in the show using the interpersonal concept terminating. Interpersonal communication affects the outcome of reality TV shows and the contestants' relationships with each other. Interpersonal communication is communication between other people, either highly personal or highly impersonal. When we communicate interpersonally, we are establishing, maintaining, and disengaging with relationships with other people. One way to effectively use interpersonal communication is by understanding the other situation. In order to build a relationship with someone, we need to be aware of where the other person is coming from. We also need to make sure we're communicating in the right manner. It's not just what we say that matters, but also the tone and how we say it. Additionally, by considering our understanding of the other person, we figure out how to best our intentions and ideas to that particular individual. We also have to make sure we're influencing them to listen or take action as needed. People are more likely to listen to us when we first listen to them and make efforts to establish common grounds. When we approach any communication with the intention to create a win-win situation, that's when we will maximize our influence on other people and inspire them to take action. Interpersonal relationship is a relationship that involves the establishment of a person connection with another person through the internal use of communication. These types of relationships are unique, they require commitment, time, and they are based on implicit or explicit rules. Interpersonal relationships experience conflict, and sometimes it ends very badly. Interpersonal relationships are built around rules, and when those rules are broken, things in the relationship change, causing major conflict, which could potentially result in ending the relationship. When communicating interpersonally, it is typical to be civil with people we do like and uncivil to people we don't like. For example, we use the term flaming. We flame someone to express our dislike. However, in interpersonal communication, we sometimes communicate uncivilly with people we actually care about, like when we are terminating a relationship. According to Kayani, flaming is the uninhibited expression of hostility, such as swearing, name-calling, ridicule, and insults towards another person, his or her character, religion, race, intelligence, or mental ability. People normally go on social media to flame someone. It's very typical for this to happen during reality TV shows, especially ones that are dating reality TV shows. But this also can happen in person or with the other contestants. The final step of a dissolution of a relationship is the terminating stage. Terminating is when couples make their separation final. During The Bachelorette, a lot of couples terminate their relationship, and sometimes that positively and negatively affects the show. Now that I have discussed what interpersonal communication is and some of the concepts, I will now analyze events in the show using these concepts. In week 4 of season 10 of The Bachelorette, Andy Dorfman fought with Eric Hill, sending him home after a tense final conversation. Eric Hill flamed Andy by saying she's being an actress instead of somebody that's actually trying to find love. His harsh words affected Andy Dorfman in a negative way, leaving her in tears during the rose ceremony. Eric flaming Andy in week 4 of the season negatively impacted the show. Instead of sending him home, Instead of sending someone home who could have wanted to be with her, she kept Eric around for 4 weeks, and he was someone who believed Andy was fake. If Eric wouldn't have blamed her as soon as he did, Andy could have kept him around, resulting in lost time with someone else and not having a contestant who thinks she's real and sincere. Season 8 of The Bachelorette, Emily Maynard gets information that contestant Kaylon McKinnon blamed her by saying that her daughter Ricky was baggage. This affected Emily in a relative negative way. She was hurt that someone she thought she had a connection with could say something so disheartening. Emily did flaming of her own by saying she wanted to rip his limbs off and beat him with them. She said she was going to go hood rat backwards on him, showing a side of herself to the other contestants that they never saw before. After confronting Kaylon about his comments, she told him to get the F out, showing how upset she was and how disrespectful his comments were to her. Blaming someone on a reality TV show is a really hurtful thing to do. This can affect other contestants because they could start to believe what they heard or saw was true, and that can turn them off. Blaming is one of the most hurtful ways to communicate your dislike for someone due to a certain issue. Blaming could also bring out negative sides of the recipient, like it did with Emily Maynard. Now that I have discussed The Bachelorette using the concept flaming, I will finally analyze The Bachelorette using the concept terminating. Season 9 of The Bachelorette featured Desiree Hartfield, who hit it off with Brooks Foster really early on in the show, making the spoiler gurus not have to think too hard because it was obvious that she was head over heels for him. During the 2-hour season finale, Desiree got bad news from Brooke Foster that he was not ready to be in a relationship, and he was unsure about being married, and he ultimately left the show, terminating the relationship completely, leaving her heartbroken and unsure about her continuation on the show. The terminating of their relationship negatively and positively affected the outcome of the show. Brooks left so close to the end, Desiree was unsure she would leave without finding the love of her life, but decided to stay because she thought she could still find her husband. The positive side of the terminating of their relationship is that Desiree believed that Brooks was clouding her judgment of the other guys, and she realized that she loved Chris and that he loved her too. Instead of leaving the show, Desiree decided to stay, and she got engaged to Chris that night of the season finale. If Desiree would have left the show, she wouldn't be in a successful marriage with Chris. Desiree and Chris's marriage is one of 3 successful marriages that the show has produced. Today, I discussed what interpersonal communication is itself. Secondly, I took one interpersonal concept, flaming, and analyzed the show, The Bachelorette. Finally, I took another key interpersonal concept, which was terminating, and analyzed The Bachelorette. Interpersonal communication affects the outcome of reality TV shows and the contestants' relationships with each other. Interpersonal communication plays a major role in relationships that go on in reality TV shows. Interpersonal communication, or lack thereof, can positively or negatively affect the outcome of certain shows. It is important that we understand interpersonal communications so we can make better decisions in our lives.